Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of D&D CR Exposed. On today's episode we are looking at Felgolos, a huge dragon from Storm King's Thunder. But before we get to exposing Felgolos' CR, oh no, we're going to talk really quick about the tool here and get the housekeeping out of the way. So if you like what I'm doing here and you'd like to get this tool for your own use, you can do so at my link in the description below for my Ko-fi page, where you can get this tool completely for free, or donate if you feel so inclined to. There are other ways to support my work here. You can also become a channel member for as little as $1 a month, or you can also donate at Ko-fi as well for the same amount. Ko-fi members will also get early access to videos just like you will here on YouTube, as well as other items that I have yet to work out. There are also other projects on there, such as my work on the Goblin Slayer game system for Foundry VTT, and some custom classes, primarily for Tales of the Valiant, as well as 5th edition, so they kind of work hand in hand, and then some subclasses that I've been working on as well. There's custom monsters, and a few other little oddball items here and there. So if you like what I do, and you'd like to support the channel, there's a variety of other ways. Also, you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video. Alright, with that out of the way, let's take a look at Felgolos here. A huge dragon that's lawful good. Alright. And we are expecting a CR 15, so we'll go ahead and drop that in, and then we'll move up to the top and just work our way down. With an AC 19, our huge dragon here is going to have a whole bunch of hit dice, and that's going to be 17, as we can see over here. We have a fly speed, doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and throw in the stats of 25 strength, 10 dex, 23 constitution, 16 intelligence, 15 wisdom, and 19 charisma. And then after that, we do have some skills, immunities, senses, and languages. Nothing here matters because we only have one immunity. We don't have to worry about taking that into account. But we do have some traits, and with our traits we have amphibious, which doesn't affect our CR whatsoever, and then we have legendary resistance, which we do add in here for +3 uses and a total of +90 effective hit points. From there, we can simply move into the multi-attack, or the action section here, and we have a whole bunch of stuff going on. So our multi-attack is going to be its frightful presence, which is typical for a dragon, and then makes 3 attacks, 1 with its bite and 2 with its claws. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have +12 for our 2 hit, which is coming directly from our strength, so we'll go ahead and throw in our attack bonus. And then from there, we have our bite, which is going to be 18 damage. No extra modifiers there. 14 for the claw and 16 for the tail. Now we do have the frightful presence, but because our dragon is over CR 10, it's not going to impact the CR whatsoever, because there is a special rule where monsters, it's like either monsters of the party is over CR or level 10, the party has an easier time dealing with the frightened condition and can mitigate that quite easily. So we could just skip over Frightful Presence. It's not going to do anything anyways. I have it here for lower level monsters that use Frightful Presence, but when we click it on, you're going to see that it has no effective bonus. Moving on, we do have breath weapons, which recharge on a 5 or 6, which are going to be Lightning Breath, and that's going to be 66 damage for 1 target, so we have to multiply that times 2. Because we're expecting 2 failed saves, 1 failed, and 2 successes, or 4 successes in total. So generally speaking, you're going to want to hit as many targets as possible. So that's going to be 66, not 666, and times that by 2 for a total of 132 damage. Now, our multi-attack is going to be our, bite and 2 claw attacks. So let's see here. Typical dragon style is to just front load with a massive breath weapon and then kind of fill in with everything else here, and this is a problem. This right here is what's going to make this dragon, if they are fighting or being fought, a boring fight, because our breath weapon recharges on a 5 or a 6. We get 1 use. In theory, we only get 1 use, and if combat only lasts till round 3, which in theory that's as far as it usually goes, anything beyond that starts to get into some slight attrition there. But in any event, we might see a second use unless the DM is rolling hot, and we could have it 2 or 3 times. And if the DM wants to be cruel, we could use it once again. But beyond that, we are just kind of looking at once every 3 rounds of combat. We also have a repulsion breath, and we can, let's see here, 30-foot cone, DC 19 strength save, or creatures that push 60 feet away. That's handy in a sense if you need to escape, but beyond that, it's nothing all that important. So we're going to skip over repulsion breath. Plus, it's also a defensive measure, and as I've been saying in some of my other videos before this one, any defensive skills I'm not bothering to calculate because it will outweigh, or it will kind of balance the offensive capabilities. So if we wanted to use something defensive, we just take one round of combat damage away, unless the defensive can be wrapped in with offensive maneuvers as well, in terms of usually legendary actions, which we are looking at next, and that is going to be, let's see here, detect. So our first legendary action does nothing basically. Tail attack, so we can do our tail attack up to 3 times, which is going to give us 16 times 3 for a total of 48, only beating out our multi-attack by 2 points of average damage. And then we also have the typical wing attack, so we have 14 points of damage there, which gets us up into the sky, plus 1 use of wing or tail attack as well. So this legendary combo of wing attack and tail attack is only good to get Felgolos here, Felgolos out of combat, or at least back into the air if need be, because that's where dragons should be, up in the sky. So let's go ahead and calculate our full thing here, because right now we're seeing our DCR defensive challenge rating at a 16, which is roughly where our dragon should be. So we're hopefully going to see something close with our offensive capabilities. And because of that, we're going to go ahead and throw concentration for our... We're going to use the concentration spot to include our multi-attacks from legendary action and all tail attacks, which just means we're going to immediately calculate that into the total full attack here. And then for our rounds of combat, more than likely our first round is going to be our breath weapon here of lightning breath, and then rounds 2 and 3 is going to be 46 measly damage. And we're actually, I'm really surprised that our offensive capabilities jumped up so high, but then again, not exactly, considering what I had said about the massive damage from our lightning breath here. And we end up with an offensive CR of 20, which brings our dragon up to a CR 18. So again, it's a little bit out of balance, especially since we're expecting a 15. So our dragon here, Felgolos, is 3 higher, and that could be pretty important, especially if we're trying to use this as like a big boss. The best place to use this would be right around probably CR9 or CR10, more than likely CR10, using the rules from Tales of the Valiant to calculate encounter builds. You usually only want a solo monster to be 1.5 times the total party pool. So depending on the gear that your players have, they might be able to deal with a CR 16 or 15, technically 15 dragon at level 9, but because now we're looking at Felgolos here at CR 18, we likely wouldn't want to deal with this until maybe CR 11 or 12 in theory. But then again, you know, your results may vary depending on what you do or how you use this in combat. But in any event, here we have it. There's really no room to wiggle and deal with this. The only thing I would suggest is really drastically reducing the amount of damage that the breath weapon does, because this is just what D&D does. They want their dragons, because it's Dungeons and Dragons, to be scary. Well, they can still be scary if you build the CR correctly. It doesn't matter that, you know, you want your monsters to be dangerous. They can be dangerous when the CR is built correctly and then the encounters are built properly. Then you can have a proper solo dragon that is epic and legendary and give your players a challenging fight at the proper CR. You don't have to front load them with this massive breath weapon in hopes to killing the players in one shot. But with that rant out of the way, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.